Hello, West Ham fans. Welcome back to Have Your West Ham View. Just say
Yeah, I'm Tom. What's going on?
Oh, God. That's the 20th take. We have to run with it now.
Yeah.
Don't know why we're creasing so much. Maybe it's because we won 4-0 on the weekend and we just, even though it's Wednesday morning, we're still buzzing about it.
Yeah, it's about time, isn't it, really?
It is about time. Revenge is sweet.
Yes.
On the old Red lads, the Forest boys. Obviously, in the reverse fixture early in the season, we lost 1-0. And we was talking about that. We was actually away, weren't we, when that game was on? And
Yeah.
I think it was second or third game of the season, and obviously high hopes off the back of a European campaign. Don't know why I'm creasing, but yeah, we missed a penalty that day. We had that one disallowed because Antonio ran into the centre half.
Ben Rama as well.
Yeah, Ben Rama. Yeah, so
Yeah.
and then we hit the bar on the post, I think, like 20 times. But there we go. We've got a win. I think that's 9 games, only 2 defeats in 2023. All right, we need to keep picking up points, and we don't want this win to cover over some of the cracks and ultimately the poor performances that we have had over the course of the season. But he changed formation. Obviously,
Yeah, he was calling out for that, wasn't he?
yeah, he had the 5 back in the week previous, and in like Newcastle, Chelsea, and Tottenham, which was so flat. He had to change something, especially against Forest, who were in the bottom half with us. What did you think of the game? Obviously, we was there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the last 20 minutes were the highlight, if I'm honest. We did create a lot of chances in the first half.
Yeah.
Ings could have had a brace at half time.
Could have, yeah.
Ben Rama had a good chance when he chopped in. Nice bit of play with Paqueta. I think they linked up quite well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I thought it flowed a lot better. I think we outplayed Forest the whole game, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
But
we did.
at the same time, there were still elements on the right hand side, left hand side with Forest on the break where I thought he looked a bit weak. But
Yeah.
I expect it, as I said in the previous episode, we should be dominating these games. And picking up form now.
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely should. I mean, yeah, Brennan Johnson looked a pretty decent player. I think he's a tidy player, and I think if Forest do go down somehow or whatever happens, I think other clubs will be looking at him.
Yeah. He's a good player.
He's a good player, and I think he gave Ben Johnson a run for his money in that first half. The Johnsons up against each other. Pre-match, it was nice to see. I love a Saturday 3:00. I do love a Saturday 3:00. It was Saturday 3:00, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I think as well, Saturday 3:00, you get the whole day, don't you? You can make a day of it.
Yeah,
It
that's
wasn't
what
a
I'm
lunchtime kickoff that was there.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was what it was. So obviously no trains. We've got to go to Woodford from Chelmsford, which is not ideal, especially down the back roads when the M11's busy. But it was nice to get out there early, go for a beer, and yeah. But like you say, no proper game. I think we ended up watching Coventry Sunderland. Yeah.
Proper game of football. That'll be us maybe next season anyway, so we shouldn't complain too much.
No, we shouldn't.
No, we're not. We're on the up now.
We're on the up.
Yeah.
We are on the up. We like I said, 3 points is important, and it feels like a very similar situation to obviously Everton a few weeks ago, where we picked up a win. This is obviously a lot more convincing, but pre-match it was nice. So we had Declan Rice walk out with Bobby Moore's great grandchildren.
Yeah.
Obviously, 30 years since Bobby Moore passed away, and the club do something every year, but obviously with it being 30 years, they wanted to do a bit more of a commemoration. And Declan, I mean, imagine being Rice and you're walking out with Bobby Moore's like great grandchildren.
Captain's armband.
That's big, and he did a lot of posts after the game. I know he was obviously buzzing. Everyone's buzzing. We finally got a win, but that was a nice start to the day, and we definitely were a better team, I'd say, through the whole game, to be honest. But in that first half, I think probably the key moment that we talk about is Danny Ings' sitter. and come the 70th minute, obviously all the way down the end of the game, we were even talking about having him hooked, weren't we? But not that he wasn't playing well, not that he wasn't working his socks off, but we haven't seen him be in and around that 6-yard box much, other than when he missed in the first half. So we was talking about change because we needed a goal. But we'll get to that in the second half. So talk about the Danny Ings sitter.
Yeah, we saw Antonio and Skamaka warming up on the side, and we were kind of saying, right, he's getting on now in the game. I think he should change him. But yeah, back stick. I think anyone watching, me and you, probably we would have buried it.
It was I don't know.
Hard as a miss,
I might have if it came off my shoulder or something.
But he's a striker, and he gets in them positions. And do you know what? He might miss 2 or 3 sitters a game, but he's going to give you goals, and that's what Antonio maybe wasn't offering as much with the positional side of things.
Yeah, he's just there.
Yeah.
He's just there. He's a striker. One thing I will say is, and again, Antonio does work hard. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't work, but he only does it in spells. He's not as agile. He's a workhorse, if you like. So he's a bit bigger, a bit stronger. So he can't constantly run all game. Danny Ings is a bit smaller, a bit nippier. So he can run down those centre halves. He can run down those goalkeepers. And then when your striker's doing that, it then kind of makes the team around him do it as well. Ben Rama was pressing, Bowen was pressing, then Rice squeezes up. Would we have done it against a side like United, like tonight? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. We were all over him in that first half. I feel we had 9 corners in the first half alone.
Yeah,
that's a lot of Declan Rice corners.
It's a lot of corners. I don't know what's happened. I know I called out the stat last week on set pieces, etc. But I think we've got to find that corner take, haven't we?
Yeah.
With Cresswell not being a regular starter anymore, well, we think anyway, he's breaking into the side again, which is interesting. But yeah, we need to try and work on them in the training ground, definitely. Rice he's fizzing a few in. Some are half decent, but they're not good enough, are they?
No, they're not. I don't mind his crosses, to be honest. I think they're okay. Obviously, he got that assist against was it Newcastle
back
Paqueta around the back.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's just this idea that Declan Rice shouldn't be taking corners because
he's an aerial threat.
But then, like you say, who else? Ben Rama can't ever get further than sort of 4 metres away from the corner. Can't get it off the ground. Bowen, maybe on the right hand side, he can whip it in, but I don't know. Maybe do an in-swinger for once on the other side and put maybe Paqueta on the left hand side. I'm not sure, but obviously he's doing it for a reason. He must ping him in training. We only had one shot on target in the first half, and on the corners as well. I feel like Navas looked so small, so flappy. Like he'd come out and I think, oh, he's going to cock this up. Like he'd always batted every single one out. He punched everyone out. He didn't come out and catch it at all. So maybe that's why we was kind of trying to get those corner balls and just whip it in. But 9 shots on goal in the first half to, I think, Forest 1 or 2. We only had 1 on target, which was, like you said, the Ben Rama one.
Yeah.
Paqueta, who I thought played really, really well. It was nice to have him back in the team after, obviously, he was out for the last few weeks with a shoulder injury. So, what did you think of Paqueta's performance in that first half? Because he was looking really sharp, weren't he? And he was getting the crowd off their feet.
He was, I got worried because he went down with a bit of a shoulder injury, I thought, in the first half. But yeah, he was the one dictating the play. He had a few nice touches on the edge of the box, a few nice, as you know, the flicks that he likes to do for his Instagram reels and stuff. But generally, he had a good performance. And although the first half wasn't as good, the second half, the second goal, he was the main man for it.
He was the main man.
He took the ball from Nico Williams, played through Ben Rama, and we scored. So I think he was definitely one of the man of the matches for sure.
Yeah, I think we kind of targeted Nico Williams a little bit. I think Ben Rama ran him a bit ragged in that first half, and I was thinking, do you think like players like Ben Rama and Paqueta, do you honestly think they think about their Instagram page and TikTok like mid game? Because whilst it seemed to come off like 9 times out of 10 during a game against Forest, but sometimes I think you don't really need to be doing that there. And I'm thinking they're thinking, my editor back in Algeria is gonna love that.
I do. Yeah. But if it pays off, I'm not complaining.
Oh no, not at all.
Nice flicks today. Today on Saturday, and I'm hoping there's more today.
Yeah. So obviously tonight's United, but we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah.
Bowen looked really good. Bowen obviously lacking some goals this season, but I think him, Paqueta, even Ben Rama, I think the team was pretty solid, and we played really well. And come the second half, Kufal obviously was on the right. He started Johnson at left back. I was a bit dubious. It's a bit dubious decision because I've liked Emerson. I actually stuck Emerson in my fantasy team. And what was that for? I don't know. But what did you think about that? Johnson left back over obviously Cresswell and Emerson.
Yeah, Emerson's been on hot form. He scored against Chelsea as well. On that point, Sam did put him as FPL. Next season we'll get a league going so you can see his poor performances week in, week out.
No way. I was top of the league, right? Top of the league all season until about 20 games.
Yeah, he's there.
And now everyone's caught me up.
But Emerson, I think, he's been on form, but we can't call it out. We won 4-0 at the end of the day. That's the most important thing. We kept a clean sheet. Cresswell did look a bit rope when he came on.
This is it. That first sort of 15-20 minutes before we actually got that, 25 minutes before we got that goal. I was worried when they went down that right hand side. A few times he kind of let the ball run past him, but he's a bit different because he does offer that quality on the ball, not off the ball. He looks a bit dodge. But yeah, he come on for Kufal. Kufal apparently he's been playing with an injury for about 6 months. That's what they're saying. But like Dawson last season, he played every game with an injury. I think they're doing that again with Kufa this season. Because Kufa had a run of... obviously, he was brilliant for us when we first signed him. He picked up that knock against Chelsea. I don't know if you remember Nemanja Matic sort of kneed him in the nuts.
I do. I think Man United.
Yeah, I think
in the cup.
Because Matic played for United, didn't he? That's what I thought, Chelsea. But yeah, Matic has gone in to like his groin, and I think that's always affected him. But he's proper West Ham Kufau, and I think now he just wants to play. I don't think he's really bothered. I think he's in his late 20s anyway, so he's in his prime, and he's thinking, if I've got to play with a jab or whatever, then I think he's just playing.
Yeah. Honest. Do you know what though? The two Czech boys, Souček, Kufau, I'm seeing a good, a bit of progress in their performances week in, week out.
Absolutely.
Souček especially, I think.
Yeah.
The Tottenham game, I think he was probably our most positive player.
Yeah.
And again today.
But we go back to when we was doing these pods, like in December, at the start of December, and we was saying, play Baketa deeper, push Souček up, because Souček is not the sort of player that when he's deep in the pitch, he's going to pick up the ball and spray it. In that cam role, and we've said it on here, I mean, if we can try and go back and we'll do a TikTok of us talking about it, like, in that cam role, he can run, which we know he does. He's always running. And secondly, he can just put himself about a bit more when it comes to ball in the air. He can support Danny Ings by flicking it on. He did that a few times against Forest on the weekend. And then even against Spurs the other week, he seemed to be pretty. I think when he's in that final third, he's a different player than anywhere else. Because if he's in the middle or if he's in defence, he just floats. He just lingers, and then he doesn't have any impact on the game at all. So yeah, I agree. I'm liking the Czech boys at the moment. I'm liking the Czech boys. It was a 56th minute where Bowen hit the post. I thought it was in.
Yeah. Everyone got up, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think it was that. You could feel the atmosphere in the stadium starting to build up. Everyone was ready for the goal, and I think it was so unlucky. And I saw after the game and match of the day how frustrated Bowen looked when it didn't go in.
Yeah. It was on his right peg as well, wasn't it? It was on his right foot, and it was brilliant play. And I think just inside of the post, and it's come across. And then about a minute later, literally, Paquetás had picked up the ball in the edge of the box after, again, a bit of good work from Bowen, and he's pinged it, and it's just... He either clipped the top of the bar... Do you remember it?
Yeah.
He either clipped the top of the bar, or it just went over. But that was it, really. That set the tone for
the Danny Ings Master Show after that.
For the Danny Ings Master Show. But just before the Danny Ings Master Show, obviously, Fab picked up a knock.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't think anything of it, but he stayed down. And I don't know if you remember, I was saying Agüero didn't like that because he ran over to that Philippe guy for centre half for Forest, and he was proper giving it to him.
I like that.
Yeah, you want to see that backing his players. But yeah, Fab's broke his cheekbone. It was announced yesterday. He seems to be in a pretty bad way. You saw the picture actually of his eye when he come off just underneath.
Nice, yeah.
Didn't look good, did it? But Areola, we've all been talking about it. The geezer comes on in the 69th minute and we score 2 goals in 2 minutes. What can we say? But he's it's about time, really, isn't it? And something like this is always going to happen, I feel, to lead to this moment. What do you think?
Yeah, and he made a good save when he came on as well. I think the last few minutes, Lingard down the left-hand side who got booed the whole game.
That was funny.
Yeah, I think Areola came on. It's about time he gets that chance. Don't get me wrong, I think Fabianski's not exactly done terrible.
No.
He's made a few big saves, but I think Areola's time now to get consistent game time. He'll play again against United.
Yeah. End of the day, when we talk about Fabianski, it's nothing personal against him, but I just feel we're 19th in the league when it comes to clean sheets. He makes some good saves, but I don't feel like he's got that commanding presence. I feel like we need someone with a bit more, a bit more ambition, because I feel like Fab's coming to the end of his career. He's just there. He's playing every week. He does his job and he's happy, sort of thing. Whereas Areola, he wants that number 1 spot in France.
Yeah.
He ain't going to get that at West Ham.
With Lloris retiring now.
Exactly. He's next in line, effectively. So he needs to be playing football. If he doesn't carry on playing from now, he will leave in the summer because it doesn't make any sense for him to stay at West Ham. But I'm confident he'll get in that team now. We've seen what he can do in the European campaigns over the last couple of seasons because he plays in all those games anyway. So he'll probably play in the cup tonight with Fab being injured. So I'm excited to see him get a proper run of games. And we'll talk about that save shortly. But Ings picked up. Obviously, he picked up the ball in the half turn in the middle of the pitch. He span and he switched the play to Bowen. Bowen's done what he does so well, where he's kind of slowed the play down, then just got it across. Who's there? Danny Ings. Bit behind him, weren't it?
It was a bit behind him, but you know what it comes back to? That natural forward-thinking player. Like Danny Ings drops deep when he's meant to. It comes naturally to him. Yeah. He plays it out to Bowen. Yeah. They get the ball back into the box, and he's there again. It's that natural attacking thinking. Isn't it? It's not
that number 9, isn't he? He's a number 9 proper.
You don't have to train him to do it. It comes to him naturally, and that actually affects Bowen. It affects Benrahma. It even affects Rice in the midfield, because if he's flowing naturally, everyone's playing off him, and it just works.
It feels better, doesn't it? It just feels right. Whereas Antonio can be just being. And again, credit to him, he come on and he done what strikers should do, which is come on and score a goal. Yeah. But he doesn't do it all the time. There was even a point in the first half where Bowen picked up the ball, and I just saw Danny Ings. He didn't even think twice. He just turned and just ran straight through the middle of the centre half. All right, the ball didn't come to him, but then he actually stretched the play. Whereas Antonio, I feel like he'll just turn and he'll kind of follow the play up, and he'll peel off around the back stick every single time. Yeah. He'll peel off, and it's like, well, Ings will change it up. He'll go short, he'll go just straight down the middle, he'll peel off front, peel off back, and it's all natural. And he done well to finish it, slightly behind him. And when that went in, obviously there was a 2-minute VAR thing about whether was it onside, was it offside, whatever. And after it was given, we scored another one in a minute, literally 1 minute. We were still celebrating the goal, and I couldn't really. I think Paqueta did one of his Instagram flicks where he's gone round Nico Williams again. I'm pretty sure. I bet it was brilliant play, and he then drilled it into Benrahma, who does much better against worse opposition.
Said that last week, didn't I? Yeah. Any kind of championship-esque side. No, well, actually, no. We won 4-0. You know what? They're still above us in the league, but no disrespect to Forest. That Nico Williams kind of not very experienced on that right-hand side. No. Benrahma made the most of it, didn't he? He did. He put it in the danger area, and Ings has got a lucky little tap in.
No, you can't sugarcoat it. Like, against those sides that aren't renowned as top 10 Premier League clubs, or even lesser, Benrahma comes into his own, and I'm sure he will when we play against Iron Apple away. But he just comes into his own a little bit, and I think that's where Moyes gets frustrated with the consistency of the lad. But so the second goal, obviously Danny Ings picked the ball up again deep, got fouled. Susic just put the ball down, sprayed it into Rice, and Rice done what he does best, which is drive the ball up the pitch. Little 1-2 with Benrahma, and
great finish. What
a goal, mate! What a goal!
Unbelievable finish.
He just said it. It was almost like he just stopped, like took a touch, and then his standing leg, he just planted it, and he's just gone whack round a beautiful goal. And you saw his celebrations with Noble in the tunnel, and his nephews as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's you know what though?
It's good to see.
The goal was great. No credit's being taken away from Rice, but what's going under the radar is that quick free kick from Soucek. Not very often we see that from him.
No.
Gets the ball down straight away, pings it into Rice, and we're off.
Yeah. And we're 2-0 up. We're already, that was 1-0, wasn't it? And it was already 2-0 up. So it shows the intent. It shows we've got to go out and get another goal. And yeah, Soucek, that's why I made a note of it, because that can go unnoticed. The importance of actually just getting that ball down and going. We're caught them a bit cold, and it's a beautiful goal. Rice will do that every game. If you watch West Ham play every week, he'll have a pop from outside the box. 9 times out of 10 it will go wide. But I think he's getting better at it. He just needs to focus on hitting the target, because he'll always generate the power behind the shot, because he's got such, he's just such a good player. His technique's unreal. He just needs to focus on getting that shot on target, because when he hits the target, we've seen it. I think all of his last 3 Premier League goals have all been outside the box, I'm pretty sure. You've got the one against Watford, you've got the one against Villa, and that's off the dome as well. That's not bad going, is it? No, yeah. And then obviously you got the one on the weekend. So yeah, triple substitution. It was nice to see Lanzini on the pitch. I missed that play. I miss watching him. He's just sharp, isn't he? He's not played for so long, and he still just picks up the ball, and he looked really good, and he was a massive part of that Payet era, weren't he? Where it was the Payet and Lanzini show, weren't it? But we know Lanzini's leaving in the summer. He's probably going to go back to Argentina, or maybe somewhere in Italy, which would be a shame, wouldn't it?
It was nice to see a number 10 in the side, Lanzini number 10. But going back to that Payet era, that 28 shirt was I'd love to get my hands on that. That was a proper Lanzini shirt.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But I think coming off the back of that performance and the subs coming on, Lanzini for now as Antonio. This is what Moyes wants. They've all come on. They've all made an impact.
Yeah.
For the fourth goal, I think Lanzini definitely played a part, but it's come down to the wing. Fornals chops it
Lovely
back.
bit of play, wasn't
Great
it?
play.
Yeah.
Antonio then gets his head on it. This is what we want because, Ings cup tied today. A lot of aspects of, someone might get injured. We've got players that are hopefully now picking up form.
Yeah.
That can also compete in training and in the side. So.
Yeah, definitely. I find it fun because obviously Forest brought on Andre Ayew and he didn't get the best reception. But Moyes will always wait until the game is proper sewn up, won't he? So what was he 3-0 up and then he made the 3 substitutions and it's like it just makes me laugh. It also the boys only got 10 minutes, but they come on and they made an impact. But that's what you want. You want your players to come on and cause some problems. Moving on. Off the back of West Ham games, you'll always there's always stories after, isn't there? There's always something about someone or one of the players, and this week what we had was the Scamacca situation. So I think it's been cleared up by X and somebody in the knows, but he has been let go by his agency, World Soccer Agency or whatever they're called. We can all make assumptions about what's happened and he's got a bad attitude or whatever just because he looks like he's hard and his old man's an hour. But I think what's been said is that yes, he is happy at West Ham. I think what was they saying about
it wasn't very trustworthy. I don't think.
Trustworthy, that was it. Yeah.
I think if you look at Scamacca, we brought Ings in the winter, the January transfer window. Antonio as well. He's almost. I'm being honest. He's looked as though he's third choice at the minute.
But at the moment, yeah.
But we know what he's capable of, and the cup game in the week, the Europa League, the Europa Conference League game next week. These are his chances to show what he's about again because he's had a knock. And before that, Leeds, he had a great game, didn't he? He scored a good goal. So I think his time will come, definitely. But X did confirm he's happy at the club. So
yeah, I think he's just slightly frustrated maybe, but end of the day, he's been injured. When he was fit, he was playing. Obviously, Danny Ings has come in because he was injured, because Antonio's been off the boil. I think I'd love to see, Ings and Scamacca up top with Antonio as that impact sub. We've now had 3 strikers at the club of reasonable sort of standard for a long while. Long.
Well, we had Perez, Antonio, didn't we?
Yeah, but even then,
Carroll.
that's what I'm saying. Like these are 3 decent names that if we can get them all fit and get them all working together, could be massive. Because the fixtures are going to come thick and fast if we stay in these competitions. If United tonight is a different story, but I expect Scamacca to get a chance. I don't think Moyes will risk Ings, knowing that we've got Brighton on Saturday.
Ings is cup
so he definitely won't bloody risk him. I think he'll probably start Antonio tonight, but I'd like to see him just chuck Scamacca in there. Saying that, Scamacca didn't do all that at Old Trafford early in the season. I think Martinez, even though he's 4'8", pocketed him.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to disrespect that player. Martinez is brilliant. He's a top draw centre half, and I think it's Pim, Varane. United won a cup on the weekend. They've got winners, haven't they?
They've got winners, and they're on a bit of form. And they obviously won the cup, beat Barcelona the week before. What will be interesting is what side they go out with, because they played Barcelona in a week. They've actually 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And then they've obviously gone against Newcastle on the weekend. I don't know if they're going to go. Hopefully, from our benefit, they don't go full strength. We'll find out tonight, but. They've got players in red hot form. You've got Rashford on the wing. You've got obviously Martinez, Varane. Keeping a clean sheet in a cup final is not easy.
No, it's not at all. Not at all, mate. Other talking points off the back of the game. Cornet apparently is going to be fit this week. I've heard that for the last 16 years. So, he seems to be. I look forward to seeing him in the squad when it happens, and I think he could make an impact providing he's actually fit. But I doubt it.
But you know what? He's that bit of fresh energy we need.
He is. Yeah.
Ben Rama looks great once every 4 weeks. Yeah. Cornet could be that consistency that we need on that left-hand side. I hope he is anyway. But when he's fit, I don't know when he's fit.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Under 18s, they turned over Ipswich in the Youth Cup semi-final, was it? And they're looking really good at the moment. They've got some really good players coming through. It's obviously, the one player we've seen in and around the first team squad is Divan Mubama. It's kind of a tricky time for him because you've got Ings, Scamacca,
Antonio.
Yeah. So where does he fit in? I don't know, and I think it's a good time to get him out on loan. Obviously, you can't at the moment because it's not the window. But in his last 10 games, I think he scored 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 13, 14 goals. He's picking up assists. I think he's only blanked in 2 out of 10. So he looks a good prospect.
Moyes doesn't even play 2 strikers, let alone he won't be chucking in anymore.
No.
But yeah, he's on great form, and I'd like to see him get a run. I think the game in Iron Apple is a big chance. He played the last Conference League game, so hopefully he can get a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely. We should turn him over. Big star.
Himself,
yeah. Another talking point of the back of the game, I think on Sunday, Danny Dyer, the actual Danny Dyer, was on Jonathan Ross' show. And he was actually, we'll try and get a clip in, he was talking about the song, Burns on Fire, and he's shagging Danny Dyer. And he said he was loving it. He was like, oh yeah, no, it's got a bit of a real feeling to it. He's talking about, I think he was saying it's like passionate or something like that. But I think he's been caught in the crowd a few times singing it. But he loves it. His daughter is, I mean, they're having a kid, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You know, isn't they?
His daughter's
he's living the dream
with a first-team West Ham player. Danny Dyer probably can't believe it. He probably thinks this is brilliant. But that was funny. I thought that was funny. Talk about that. I don't want to spend too much time talking about United this evening. I hate United, to be frank. I hate their away days. I've had 2 away days there that have been. One of them was definitely the worst night of my life, and we all know why.
Yeah.
And the other one, COYI was ill the whole day, and I think, what was the score?
Oh, we lost that again in the last minute, I think.
Was it last minute?
De Gea had an unbelievable game, didn't he?
De Gea had a worldie.
Rice had that strike again. Rice does have him every game.
Yeah.
He had a good strike. De Gea played great, didn't he?
He did, mate. But we won't talk about that too much. Look, 9 games so far, as I said earlier on, and we've only lost 2. So the games that we have won as well are going to be like Brentford in the Cup. Derby in the Cup. So we like the Cups at the moment, but as you said, we're coming up against a team who have just turned over Barcelona in the Europa League, and they've just won a Cup. So we're going to be massive underdogs this evening.
But there is one talking point at United away. 2010, we beat them 4-0 in the League Cup. Jonathan Spector. Let's have a remake of Forest in Saturday.
Yeah, it's snowing, wasn't it?
I think it might have been snowing. Well, it might have been the Colton Cole show. But either or, let's have a remake of 2010 show.
That'd be mega, mate. I think that was at home as well. But that would be mega. That'd be mega. Iron Apple away, or AEK Lanark or whatever. I think they announced yesterday there's going to be 1,600 allocation, which is massive. I think we've got like 20% of the stadium, so props to West Ham for sorting that out, because I think we was only meant to get like 500 tickets or something less than that. But yeah, unfortunately it's too short notice for the West Ham View boys to be going out there. We've all got busy lives and meetings coming up, but one guy that is going out there, and we'll get a screenshot of his tweet up actually, and he's quite, I think he's a popular face. I think he's on West Ham Fan TV a lot. It's Dom, I think his name is, and he did a tweet. He said, "This is in the space of 9 days. Manchester tonight, Brighton on Saturday, which we're going to be at. Then he's off to Athens, and then he's getting a separate flight to Cyprus. Then he's going obviously back from Cyprus to Romania to Luton, then back home, all in the space of 9 days." So shout out to you, Don, mate. That is mega.
How do you afford it?
There's that geezer Jack Cooper as well. I'd love to have him in here. He seems like a top lad, and he's doing like obviously all these games, every game, Brighton, United. He does England away as well. So he's going to Italy. Then he's got Italy away on like one day, and then 3 days later we've got I can't remember who England have got at home, but he's going to be at that as well. So top lad. And another talking point from outside, you got Will Steele. Obviously, he's making a name for himself, the ex-football manager legend. But he's 30 years old, and he's still unbeaten in League One. League One, as the Reims boss. They beat Toulouse 3-0 on the weekend. Has 15 league games unbeaten since he's been the manager. 7 wins, 8 draws, 21 scored, 7 conceded. When he come in, they had 8 points after 10 games. They're now 37 after 25, and I think they're in the top half, whatever. But he obviously expressed his interest in becoming West Ham manager. If things, because let's be honest, Moyes is in the job for the rest of the season now. If we went out all the cups and we survived, he's an option, isn't he?
He is an option, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, there's an interesting point about Will Steele. He's not actually a qualified coach, is he? So I think they pay $25,000 a week to cover his charges. Which
that's mega, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is absolutely mega.
Getting the results, then
it's costing them $25,000 a game, but they ain't losing.
No.
If someone said to the chairman, right, well, you pay $25,000 every game, but you won't lose, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll come up. But they even turned over PSG, I think, didn't they?
So they might have got a draw against PSG last minute, I think. Or
that was it.
But do you know what impresses me the most about him? He can speak fluent English, fluent French. He's got a bit about him.
And we've got a lot of French players in our squad, haven't we?
It would work quite well. It would.
Yeah. Well, still, welcome to West Ham. But no, look, we're back in Moyes. There's a lot to be spoken about, and you know, I don't want the cracks to be completely covered over, because we are in a transition period with all the players we signed, and obviously Moyes discussed on that diary of the CEO that he wanted to change the way he played, and Moyes has given us an excellent couple of seasons, so we want to stick by him. But he's got to, you know, he did 4-3-3 over the weekend. He's got to be more adventurous like that and go for games. Can't go to Man United tonight and sit back and hope to, like we did against Spurs, and hope to hit them on the counter. Whilst you have to respect Man United, who are in a great vein of form, we've already spoke about that. We've got to go and impose our own game as well. We've got to go there and actually believe we're gonna win the game. I mean, Fulham at the moment, they're on fire. If you're doing accumulators, you put Fulham in there, because they're just so good. That Solomon geezer. Did you see that clip of his goal on the weekend and his goal last night?
Very similar, yeah.
Pretty much, apart from the 1-2, literally identical. He looks like a really tidy player. I might actually sneak him in the fantasy, depending on his price. But Fulham on fire, so they're confident. They're going into games, and especially at home, they don't know what they're going to lose. So I want us to go there tonight and really give it a go. There is nothing to lose, is there?
There's nothing to lose. You know, we don't desperately need the 3 points as a league game. It's like,
no.
Give it a go. I'd love to see, I say it every week, 2 up front. Let's give them a game.
Yeah.
Scamacca and Antonio, why not? But nothing to lose.
By Newcastle, obviously, they got close. We are the club in the Premier League with the longest period. I think it's 43 years since a trophy. 43 since 1980. So, as Rice said, we're massively overdue a trophy. And then if we can win a trophy this season, we've got the FA Cup and we've got the Conference League.
What would you prefer to win? It's a big question.
You know I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I know obviously that's been another thing that's been doing the rounds on the socials.
It's the FA Cup for me.
I would prefer the FA Cup, but I don't mind.
Trophy's a trophy.
Yeah. I saw West Ham did a little. I know we're probably waffling on here a bit, but West Ham did like a post for all the tickets for the away game, or they was doing stats or whatever for the Iron Napa game, and it's like they did a little bit in the column that said, West Ham are the only club in the Europa League conference history to win 6 games in the group stage. It's like, hang on a minute, isn't this the second year that the tournament's going on? Which I found quite funny. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap that up. Hopefully we can get something out of today against United, and then obviously we've got Brighton on the weekend, which is another massive game. The under-21s turned over Brighton and they broke the curse the other day. I think they won 3-2. So let's hope we can go there as well. I'll be there. I'll try and get some shots, and hopefully we'll come back and we'll talk about another win. Don't know.
2 wins in a week.
2 wins in a week, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Thanks for listening, guys. Let's have it. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.